All right, so 2024, here we are. It's May 18th, and we went to get a different fifth wheel. So if you're out there and you've driven a fifth wheel and you've gone out and explored all over in a fifth wheel, we thought we originally wanted to get a toy hauler. So we first started shopping all over looking for a toy hauler, but we couldn't find the one that we really just liked everything about it. We needed more storage in it. We always felt like with the garage, you lose some storage capacity for stuff inside of the actual living quarters, and so we just couldn't find a layout that we really loved. So eventually we bought the Van Lay Beacon 41 LKB, and that's what we traveled in last year. And during the winter, this winter, I went and saw an advertisement for a new type of UTV called the Polaris Xpedition ADV Northstar. And I saw somebody going out, and they had a tent mounted on top of it with a ladder to get up into it. And with all the places we love to explore in Alaska, I was like, okay, I gotta have one of those. So I just went ahead and bought it. I got the tent, I got all the stuff that goes with it, because I'm kind of bougie like that and wanted all the toys. And so got that. Well, that was cool. Then I'm trying to kind of figure out, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to take this up to Alaska and also take my fifth wheel at the same time? I'm like, I could be one of those guys who's traveling down the road with a fifth wheel that they're towing with a trailer behind the fifth wheel. No, I don't want to be that guy. I'd probably backing up. I mean, no, it's just not going to work. So anyway, so then it was like, okay, well, maybe I just take and buy a trailer and tow it all to Alaska and then come back and tow my fifth wheel up to Alaska. No, don't want to do that either. So we did a thing. We went out and looked at toy haulers, and the cool part is we came across one that we really, really liked, and we did it by accident. It's up in Joplin, Missouri is where we went to look at, we actually went to check out an Alliance, Valor Alliance, and it was the 42V14, I believe, is what we were looking at. And we loved the layout of the plan. It said it had a 14-foot garage. The Polaris Xpedition ADV is 12 foot 5.5 inches, bumper to bumper. I'm like, okay, if it's 14 foot in the garage, it'll fit. Well, the one thing we found out is that garages are not all measured the same. Different manufacturers have different ways that they measure that distance. And so if you're looking for a toy hauler, you should definitely be careful when you're buying one, because they are not all measured the same way. We had ones that said they were 13 foot, and from the front wall to the glass on the doors was 14.5 feet. Some of them were 11.5 feet. So we had all kinds of variations that we saw, and we just decided we really wanted to have something that fit, and I wanted about 8 inches in front and back so that it's rocking and bouncing and it doesn't hit the glass in the back and shatter the back doors, or it doesn't hit the wall in the front and smash a hole in the wall. So another thing that we came up against was trying to find one where it had a big enough garage and it had the laundry in the master, so that we didn't have to give up 3 feet in the garage, because a lot of them have the laundry in the garage and you're going to lose 3 feet of garage space. I don't know how anybody fits any of their side-by-sides in any of these garages with laundry. It just doesn't work. So that was why we went to look at the Valor Alliance. I honestly got there, loved the floor plan. By the way, that 14-foot garage is 13 foot 6. It's not 14 feet. So that was not going to leave me enough space for the 12 foot 5.5 plus the space on the front and back. So I decided to, while I was there, I asked the lady, hey, do you have any other toy haulers? And she's like, I just have one other one, that's it. And I was like, okay, well, what is it? She goes, I think it's like a 13-foot garage, so it's probably not big enough for you. And I was like, all right, well, show it to me anyways. We walk out there, it's the Brinkley Model G 4000. Guess what? It has a 16-foot garage. And you know what? It's actually 16 feet. Now there's one other measurement that was really key for me with that tent on top of my new Expedition. That tent is, the clearance for the tent is 90 7/8 inches. Well, that back door on that Model G 4000 is actually 91.5 inches. So I can actually drive that ATV right up into the back of it. In theory, I haven't done it yet. We'll probably do a video when we do it. But it looks like it should fit to get it in there. So anyways, never seen a Brinkley, didn't even know Brinkley existed, and then we pulled the trigger the same day, because when we started walking through it, seeing all the features that are in it, if you've looked at a Brinkley Model G, you know what I'm talking about. There's whoever's designing those must be a woman, and she does an amazing job because it's awesome. The stuff they put in it, the way they designed it, the storage, everything. A+. My entire experience with Brinkley has been absolutely phenomenal. Exceed my expectations 1000%. Okay, so other things about the Polaris Xpedition ADV 5-seater is that the thing weighs a lot. It is 2,900 pounds before you put anything on it. Now, I don't know what the tent is. It felt like it was maybe 70 pounds when I lifted it up. You know, probably some fuel in there, whatever. I mean, it's gonna be borderline 3,000 pounds, and then when I sit in it, it's gonna be another 175. So one of the specifications I didn't look at, was the amount of weight that the ramp of the toy hauler could take. And on the Brinkley Model G 4000, it's a 3,000 pound limit. With me in it, it's going to be over 3,000 when I drive it up in there. So it's going to be interesting watching that and seeing what happens. I think it'll be fine. I think they probably are super safety, like probably it can handle 3,500 pounds, so they say 3,000. But I guess we're going to find out the first time we pull it in, because it's going to be a little bit over 3,000. So that was one of the things that I was also concerned about, and needed to find the right toy hauler. So at some point you'll be able to see that and see what happens. Well, yes. We tried to drive it in for the first time. I was real worried, so I started taking weight out. I had this cooler. I was like, can I make it all fit?
I made you air the tires down.
We aired down the tires. Okay, hun. It worked.
It worked!
Did we have plenty of clearance?
More than enough.
Let's see. Let's get up here. Can I see the clearance? Oh yeah, I had the clearance. Couple inches of clearance. She fit, no problem.
She in.
And it fits.
Like a glove.
Yeah, it fit with room to spare. That was amazing. I was really concerned about these little tabs for the doors, like ripping the tent off or ripping the cover off of the tent. I was really worried about that, but how many inches do you think we had to spare? 4 or 5 inches. So a Polaris Xpedition with the tent can fit in through the Brinkley G4000 back door with room to spare. And one of the things they don't tell you in any of the videos is that there's actually a way to hold these doors open, which it took us a minute to figure out, but there's a little Velcro strap right there so that it'll hold the door from slamming closed on you while you're trying to get it in there. The stress is over. I was so stressed.